Welcome to Weekly Talk.
On our last episode, I had teased an interview with K. Duncan Fat Dolsk. So without further ado, here is that interview. You might as well call it a bonus episode. Now, before we go into it, I was given permission to play a couple snippets for you. So here's a little bit of what these two artists sound like.
She's all alone, just another night blowing on my phone. I already told you there's no water hose. She don't ever trust me, that's the way she goes. Rose petals.
So that track opened with K Dunk doing, what would you call, I guess like the chorus or maybe the hook or whatever it is. I'm not really, the smartest when it comes to the music. I just like music. And then you had Fat Dolsk. I really don't know what he's going by, man. Maybe Ethan, maybe Fat, I don't know. Whenever we figure out what he's going by, I'll give you more proper information. But yeah, pretty good track. I wanted you guys to hear a little snippet of his latest. You might like it. It's called Starlight. Did you like that? Nah, I'm joking. Here it is.
Getting trippy, all these diamonds on my wrist got me feeling drippy. Stupid little bitch, yeah, you miss me. Duffel bag full of VVS still with me. Smoking on a loud in a big yard. Too much jewelry that I done bought. My AP on my wrist, yeah, it's too froze. Ending global warming, bitch, I'm too cold. I'm trying new shit with some new flow. Play it in a whip, yeah. Yeah, this shit go, I be running like Drake.
All right, so I'm sitting here with Dunk and Dolsk. What do you guys got going on?
First of all, thanks for having us. Right now, I personally, Dunk, I'm working on a solo project that I've been putting together over the last couple of months. And at the same time, I'm working with Dolsk here, and we're working on a collab album that we're going to be releasing shortly after the release of my solo project. So it's been a lot of music, a lot of different projects going on.
How did you two link up?
Actually, so we're both big G-Eazy fans. I know you are as well, Chris. I found him through YouTube. He actually made this amazing quality video. Sort of a what happened to G-Eazy, how has the fame
What
affected
video
him.
is this? Is this, all right, I think I know this video.
Yes.
Is it like how he goes like all the way back to the beginning and talks about how the fame kind of, it's like is it like 20 minutes? Is that how long the video is?
Yeah. It's a little short documentary.
Yeah, dude, that's cool. All right.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, so I posted it on Reddit.
That's how I know it
video.
then.
And I was looking for him, and somebody linked him, and then I messaged him. I added him on Snapchat, and since then we've been talking quite a bit, quite often. We probably talk about every day. And little did I know about him, he was into music, into making music, and he didn't really know too much about me either. And we found out, and he sent me a song called Rose Petals with an open verse on it, and he said, hey man, that night I wrote the verse in about 15 minutes and recorded it and had it sent back to him, and that's pretty much how it all started.
No shit. Yeah, so I actually did put Rose Petals on prior to calling you guys. I did that little snippet that you told me to put in, so the people listening definitely they should have an idea of what you're talking about.
Yep, that's the one. That's what started it all.
Yeah.
After that, we decided, like, hey man, like we complement each other. Why not make this something more than just a song?
So, what do you guys like plan on doing? I know that Dunk's got his solo thing going on, and then you guys are gonna work on your collaboration. But you were talking about possibly starting like a music group, and then venturing into that world.
Yeah, K-Dunk, you want to take that one?
Yeah. So we're really big on the independent thing. I think both Dolsk and I have kind of seen when art gets too influenced by business a little bit, you kind of lose a little bit of the magic that usually is the original inspiration for people. So we wanted to kind of based off that idea work with people with similar mindsets, and yeah, we're kind of opening up this whole universe that we want to get started here. It's still very much in its infancy, but
So what, like allow people to keep the freedom that they originally had whenever they became, hooked on music?
Yeah. So it's an independent music group. It's probably gonna be called Sauceville Music Group, and yeah, and basically the deal is we're all gonna have a distribution deal through whatever service we decide to go through, and everybody will chip in on that. But then all the artists will have 100% creative, control over whatever they're doing. They'll collect 100% of their royalties, and it'll just be a group.
So all your artists will like essentially own their, masters and shit.
Yes. So
That's
say,
pretty cool.
they join up with Sauceville, and a year later they blow up. Say something like that happens. They're gonna own all their music still. It's not gonna be a thing where like somebody loses their record deal, but their former record deal still owns their music.
No,
We
yeah,
just want to
that's
act kind
pretty
of,
much
a
the industry.
platform to have power within numbers of different artists. Like
Well, what type of
have that
music?
platform.
What type of musicians are you guys looking for? Is it strictly hip hop? Or are you gonna like head towards any rock or anything like that? Or
I think right now we're very open as long as people have. It's more of a mindset thing for us. Obviously, we're kind of rooted in hip hop, more poppy vibes like that. But if we're talking to people in the EDM scene, it's kind of all over the place. It's more just about creating connections in the music industry and having a real team rather than people who are just trying to make a dollar off of you, essentially.
right?
Yes.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not too sure what you want me to ask as far as. 'Cause I'm more interested in this music group thing. I kind of like. Is it gonna be? It's a group, but is it a label or what? What are we? You know what I mean?
It's kind of a mixture. So I'm sure you've heard of Visionary Music Group.
Yeah.
Or Revels Group, and Revels is what Jeezy and Jamilio started. And then, Logic, pretty much was the pioneer of Visionary Music Group. It's kind of something like that. We want to have a group of artists be able to use that as kind of their original startup platform and just take that.
How do you plan on getting it out there?
Well, I think one of the biggest advantages of having a group like that is as far as like really getting it out there to people who might not have listened originally. Like one big thing for Dolsk and I right now is I'm in Minneapolis and he's in Kansas City, so we automatically now have connections. We're promoting each other in different areas. So let's say we get some guys from New York, we get somebody from anywhere. Now we've got sort of this advertising through all sorts of different locations. I think that's one of my favorite
no doubt.
things
Like
about
Street Crew is definitely a good promotional value, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll probably plan a pretty I don't know. It'll be a very organized launch, that's for sure. It's not just going to come out of nowhere.
We'll
want to hit the.
Is it going to go hand in hand with your guys' collaborative project?
We would definitely like it to. It'll be around the same area. That's for sure. We don't have any for sure plans for launch. We know we want to do it. We know this is our thing. We want to be the leaders of this. But we haven't really constructed a solid startup plan yet. It'll probably be around his album or our album as a collaborative effort. and we'll probably start it around there. And we'll want to hit the nail on the head immediately, and make it very organized and just a strong startup, if that makes sense.
Well, I've actually I got a pretty solid EDM buddy. He's from Oregon. I think he thinks he's pretty good. I don't fuck with EDM much, but from what I've heard, I think he's pretty decent. I'm gonna have to send him your way if you guys are down for the EDM world. I wouldn't mind you guys hopping on a song with this dude. I should have talked to you about this prior to this.
Okay, you got that.
Yeah,
one.
absolutely. There's no we're not pushing away any opportunities right now. We're kind of just trying to really get our feet wet here, and make a lot of these connections that, again, that you wouldn't have made. I know 5 years ago I was really heavy into my own music scene, and it was all based on Minneapolis, who I knew literally in person, who I connected with in person through doing shows in Minneapolis or whatever it was. And there's only so far you can go when you're doing that before you start to feel a little slimy, like you're using people, and B, before you just run out of people that are really willing to give you an opportunity. So yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Are you two ever planning on like hitting the road together?
Oh, that's our dream. I would
Yes,
say.
sir.
I'd say our dream would be.
I know as an independent artist, it's not easy to like hit the road. You know what I mean? But
yeah, if the streams are there, and this is ends up being a success story, then we've talked about this song would be pretty dope in front of a crowd. I know I've thought about it. Starlight, for instance, that song would be crazy performing.
I remember when you talked to me about Rose Petal initially. You said this is it. This is the song that you would think would go to the radio.
Yeah, it definitely has that radio feel to it, and it being our heaviest collaborative effort on the project, we would like that one to be the one. Since then, we have made songs together that also, I say, equally have a good enough, radio value in comparison to Rose Petals. We really do have a project going on here where I am not disappointed by a single song on the whole thing.
No.
I think every song is quality.
How many
That's
tracks
what we're
are we
working
looking at?
For the collaboration, it's looking like 10 tracks. And it's going to be put together like, at least for me, a lot of my favorite albums, we got like intros, we got skits in there. There's a real like cohesive feel to actually listening through it. That doesn't mean every song sounds the exact same, but it won't feel as much. When we started it, we thought it would be more like a mixtape where the tracks would be a little more segmented, a little less fluid in listen through, but somehow it all just kind of came together. We made the right songs and it all flows really nice. So we're really excited about.
From beginning to end, it's like a seamless production.
Exactly.
That's what we're going for. Seamless. As we got into the construction of the album, we realized just how strong of a project it is. It's like, let's not make this just an EP or just a mixtape anymore, Let's make this a whole theme. Let's make this into this is the face of our music group. Let's make this into a cohesive project.
Is this ever going to see like a physical form, or is it going to be digital?
Oh, it's in the talks. We want to do a very limited run of physicals, but it's in the plans.
No doubt. Dude, Dunk's voice is way different than I would have imagined it.
Yeah. When I sing or when I rap, it's a little bit different. I don't think I'd have very many listens if I was.
I wasn't expecting this. Like Dolsk, you can kind of hear, his singing voice and how he talks, but way different.
I think the only market I could have there is some like Frank Sinatra, old school vocal type singing, but not my vibe. So
what inspires you, Dunk? Where did you get your hip hop drive from?
Oh, I think so. I grew up kind of in the boonies, and from a very young age, I was on the computer, and I was back in like the LimeWire and Kazaa days, um, listening to anything that I could really stream and download. And I got into hip hop pretty quickly through that, and I was, really young. And then as I got a little bit older, I started getting into writing. I'm a creative guy, so every time like I see something, I got into making movies. I've done kind of everything. Every time I see something that is creatively inspiring to me, I kind of want to channel that through myself and see if I can do it. So I eventually started writing music, and it started with rap. I never wrote like a pop song before rap. It was very, very terrible rap, not great at all. And then
It's good. He lies. His early music's good. He just doesn't like it.
it's hard to listen to now
We
just
grow,
because
man.
it was
grow and feel cringy about the past.
100%. And there were people who enjoyed that music back in the day, and that definitely gave me a lot of inspiration to keep going. As I went into college, things started feeling a little more professional, and I was working with a lot of artists, like I said, in the Minneapolis area. And then, like I said, just kind of the business world started becoming a little bit too real for me as far as, and I'm a business major in college. I'm doing this. I understand the necessity for business, but it started kind of cutting into my artistic drive. And so for the last 3 years, I haven't put out a song. I kind of quit music, and this upcoming solo project is now my return.
Oh, so it's all right. That's cool. So you've been silent for quite some time, and so your solo project is your return, and then you're gonna have the collaboration.
Yep, exactly. We're gonna hit the ground running, get right back into it.
Where are we gonna be able to find that solo album?
That should be on any of your streaming services, whatever it be. I'm gonna do a full release on that, and then, like I said, I'm aiming for April. I've had 3 years to really re-identify my sound, and I'm really happy with where it is now. And
What type of music are we looking at? Is it gonna be like you're putting you into it, or is it gonna be like club hits, or what are you going for?
So this isn't my first planned comeback to music. I've made like probably 3 or 4 full albums that I wanted to release that just didn't fit how I felt right at the time. I've made a lot of like boom bap, hip hop, real hard 90s rap type albums, and then I've done I had a kind of like a 80s synthwave album that I was going to drop, and now I've kind of found myself somewhere in the middle, a little bit punky, still core. It's got its roots in hip hop, but it's not contained to what a lot of people might think is often put out by like a SoundCloud rap artist.
Yeah, I don't want to put you too good in the SoundCloud. Like, I don't really categorize you as that. So
No, that's not what we're going for, man.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
no, yeah, I'm not a big SoundCloud rapper fan. I mean, it's definitely seen its fair share of success, but it's not. I wouldn't put you in that bubble.
It's just it's a great platform, and I used it for many years when I was first starting. It's great because it allows anybody to share music and release artistically, but again, people a lot of the time are doing it for a paycheck right off the bat, and it's not about that. So
Well, I mean, it's like you said, it's cool to be able to share your shit and have that freedom of creativity. But it almost seems like anytime you hear SoundCloud rapper, you know what to expect.
Right. Yeah, I'd totally agree with that. I'd say the whole SoundCloud platform is definitely saturated with a lot of the same stuff, and we're really looking to be that startup that's a step above SoundCloud. We don't want to be in. I've said this a million times in the past. I don't want to be in a box.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I'm pretty sure my last interview.
Yep.
So is your guys' music group, is that something that you might kind of turn into like a SoundCloud type of thing where you have your own platform that people can upload their shit to and become like a member of, or?
That would be something definitely. That'd be a far future consideration, but who knows?
If that happens, that means we did something very, very right. So I'm gonna put that good energy into the world and say yes.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, dude, all about what, dude. I'm a firm believer that you could speak it into fruition, man.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, us too, man. The energy we've put in, and just the passion and just the drive. I know me and Dunk recently have just been non-stop working on music. Like, it's every weekend I'm recording at least 2 songs, or I'm writing every day no matter what. And I just, the amount of energy we have around this, it would honestly be a little bit of a disappointment to see it not pan out. And that directly ties into the name of our project.
Which is what?
So we're calling it the Suicide Pact, or Suicide Pact. Essentially, we are, like I said, I've kind of done this music thing. This isn't my first rodeo as far as going into this industry. I'm re-entering it, and Dolsk here is entering it. But we've kind of got an agreement, like, we're going to do it to death. We're going to kill this. And if it doesn't pan out, then we're done. And at least we can say that we went balls to the wall on this thing. We put our hearts into it, and we're leaving it all on the field, basically.
No, yeah, that's awesome. That's my podcast isn't that great right now. We only get a couple hundred, maybe. I think the most we got like 5,000 views in 1 week. But we're in the same mentality. We're not. So I agree with that, man. That's pretty cool. I don't think failure is an option, and if it happens, then fuck it, whatever. At least we tried.
Exactly. You can't. I don't want to hold back anything, and I know Dulce doesn't either. We don't want to hold back anything, thinking too far in the future. We're gonna put it all out right now, and just do whatever we can to make this thing work, and really focus on just making good music over anything else. Because as long as we can, even if it never makes a dollar, even if there's not a single stream, we want to be able to at least look back and be like, oh, well, at least that was a good track.
Yeah.
At least
like,
it was
no
a good
regrets
album.
about it
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Who would you guys want to, like, let's look a year down the road and you guys are actually getting attention. Who would you want your first big feature to be? I have to say G-Eazy, man, because I'm talking to you two solely because I met Dolsk through G-Eazy autographs. I've met you through him, who he met you through a G-Eazy video. That's just
yeah.
It would certainly become full circle if that happened.
Yeah, if we got that big, that's on the radar. My dream feature used to be Juice WRLD, but yeah. That's who I'm kind of that's my biggest inspiration when it comes to making music. That was always my dream, was to make it like him, quick and fast, and just hit it running and just rise to the highest level you possibly could at such an early point in your career. So, that was me. Besides him, a G-Eazy,
Yo, that all facts that you sent me was pretty dope, by the way. I don't know if I told you that, but that was pretty legit.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I tried to have that a SoundCloud drop, but I got copyrighted.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was a fat rip.
Yeah.
That was probably the second rap verse I ever laid down. I thought it was pretty solid. The mixing and mastering was probably awful, but we've made it past that.
Where
but
are you guys getting your beats for this project?
I got a house producer now. It's pretty great. There is a type beat or two on there I'm going to be leasing. I know Sauce is a type beat. Might have just revealed something.
That's all right. All right.
Starlight, that's a type beat I'll be leasing. But other than that, I'm starting to work with original production now. The last song I made last weekend, it's called Sober. He made the beat from scratch right in front of me, and we had the song finished by midnight. So, and K-Dong, where'd you get Best of Luck? Was that a...
Best of Luck was from an independent producer I met online. There's sort of the general track we're looking to take now is to start doing everything in house and really not really rely on anyone else and craft it completely ourselves.
So how do you find, like, what do you mean in-house? How are you finding people who have the skill that you're looking for?
So in-house would be like 6 is to Logic.
Okay.
Or like Dakari or Christoph Anderson is to G-Eazy. I have a bud. I say in-house producer. I don't know if I could, I can't own him like that yet. That would be a little disrespectful because he actually, he's got way more traction in the SoundCloud scene than I have anywhere else.
You're going to have to put me in touch with him because we need mad beats for this podcast too.
Okay, his name's Ponch. I know him in real life, so that's kind of helped me. He's a very, very talented musician. He does charge for people he doesn't know, but for me, I've been blessed, absolutely just blessed to have him at my house and working at my house for free, and it's kind of amazing, to be honest.
No, that's dope. Yeah, every beat we have right now, I mean, they weren't expensive because they weren't like, super fucking big producers or nothing. But I don't know, what would you charge for a 30-second intro? Like $60?
I think it's actually in that range. I think he has prices on his SoundCloud, so I'll make sure to hit you with a link to him. He has tons of work throughout SoundCloud.
All right, so I want you two to everybody listening, walk us through the whole process of, from getting together and talking about making a song to actually doing it. What is your guys' collaboration process? How do you go about saying it and then doing it?
K-Dong, you first, and then I'll go.
Yeah, and feel free to chime in because I'm sure I'll miss some stuff here. But usually the process is, everything is sort of. It would certainly be nice if we lived even in the same area.
Oh yeah.
But so usually it goes
out by now.
Oh my god, yeah. Usually one of us will at least start a song. I think at least for me, I kind of go into every track I make hoping that I can just get it done. But a lot of the times I'm like, this needs more, and the second I know that it needs more, I know who to call, I know who to talk to, and so I'll hit Dolsk up and be like, hey, this is what I'm rocking with. Do you think you can find yourself somewhere on this? Does this fit, how you see yourself? And then so I'll go to the studio, I'll record my verse or hook or whatever it is, and then send the full file to Dolsk, and then he goes, you do your thing. He goes to his studio, records, sends it back to me, and then we go play with the mix master thing. And if there's any changes on either side that we need to do, we figure that out, and we know that by listening to it 100 times.
A back and forth thing. I think the music we've made in the past month, I could have had $1 million of streaming just off of me. Not really, but you get the gist.
No,
I listen to our music endlessly. I listen to our collaborative
If
songs
you're not your
every
biggest
day.
supporter, then who is,
Yeah, exactly. That's how you know you're putting out quality stuff, is when I can listen to my song or song we've made together 1,000 times, and then by the end I'm like, wow, I might add an ad lib in here, but this is where we're going on. For me, K-Dunk has made multiple songs, and he'd be like, hey man, this is one of my album cuts, and then I will beg him to leave an open verse on it for me, because he makes music that just I can I can write verses to K-Dunk songs in like 15 minutes and have the song finished by the end of the night.
So are
Just
you
because
guys writing to a beat, or are you just writing to, like, what do you know what I mean?
I freestyle. I hear what the song is, the structure. I start freestyling. I'll probably freestyle for 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll have, 2 bars or 4 bars, or sometimes I freestyled half of a verse. And then basically what I have after I get my melody down and whatever lyrics I have written down, I'll work with that and just build.
I think it's for me, the my solo project and actually our collab project has a lot of it's more melodic than any of my previous work. So having the beat made, having an instrumental or at least a sample to work with that is going to be built on later makes a big difference as far as finding the right melody that sits on the beat right and rides the vibe.
All right, so we're done with 2019. 2020's just begun. Where are we taking this year? What is going to happen? Like, I guess not what's going to happen. What do you foresee going down before 2021?
Our first show.
Yeah,
That's it for me. A year is a long time, and I think most of the people that take off, it happens within a 12-month period. So by the end of the year, we will have a well-rounded knowledge of, where we are. My goal is for our first show together.
Now, are you guys a group? Like, are you? So you got Dunk, who's solo. You got Dolsk, who is solo. Are you guys on your collaboration? Is it Dunk and Dolsk, or is it like? Are you a group? Or what do you? You know what I mean?
so that is the Suicide Pact is the.
Oh, that's the group name. That's not the title.
That's our duo name, and that's going to be our self-titled album. Now, on streaming services, we haven't exactly figured out how we will get that to work with people being able to search up K-Dunk or Fat Dolsk and the album being on our profile as well. So if the album has to end up being called A Suicide Pact by K-Dunk and Fat Dolsk, and that's definitely the route we're going to have to go. But in terms of taking it further, if we take off, I think we both, have the agreement and the understanding that it would definitely be beneficial to just merge and roll with our name at that point.
All right, let's say you guys take off, but you take off together. Let's say, and this is just, I'm not trying to wish any ill will, but let's say both of your solo projects don't reach expectations, but the collaboration blows the fuck up. Are you upset, or are you happy to just have the opportunity?
We're happy with anything, man.
Yeah, I won't be upset. I will be perfectly fine if my album doesn't work, the collab album doesn't work, but then Dolsk puts out a solo that blows the fuck up. Like that is fine with me too.
And then if that happens, I'm taking K-Dunk with me.
Exactly. That's part
awesome.
of the Suicide Pact.
That is the Suicide Pact. I mean, basically, that whole thing came off of like, wow, we work really well together. Wow, we're good friends. Like, this is us now. I mean, he's made it, and he's got so much out on SoundCloud. He has a full-length album and a couple singles out on Apple Music and Spotify and whatever. He's made it to the point where, he's at kind of a crossroads. And me, I'm early enough in my musical, I don't know if you could call it a career, where this is what I really, really want. I love working with other people, if that makes sense.
So I've already asked you before because you've been on here, but Dunk, are you married?
Am I married?
Yeah.
No, I am single currently.
It's got a lot of missed calls though.
All right.
Yeah.
If let's say you were married or even being single, how do you feel like blowing up is going? Do you think it's going to change your mentality?
I used to be a firm believer, and this goes for even being successful after college in the business world, if that's the way life takes me. I used to always, think, oh, I want to meet someone before I really ever have money, so I know they like me for me. But the older I get, it's an important thing, and I want to be able to provide and do whatever I can. If the money is a factor in finding someone, then so be it. It's just the way of life. I'll never see my success as a drawback.
Do you have a social media profile that you'd like to shout out for any of the single ladies listening?
Yeah, just go subscribe to my YouTube, Scumboy with an I.
No, all right, but all jokes aside, guys, I hope that this turns out to be a good fucking deal. I'm looking forward to it. I played a couple of the tracks at the beginning of this. If you had to tell people to listen to one song right now, what would it be?
We got a very strong 3, but Rose Petals is going to be the one.
I would imagine that anybody casually listening to the album will enjoy Rose Petals the most.
Is Rose Petals out there for them to hear now or no?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
So
We're
still just snippets then. That's cool.
It's a methodical release here.
Yeah, we wanna be able to hit it all at once. I don't want a song to grow stale before release of the album, if that makes sense.
Who said I think it was like Logic a long time ago. He said putting out a single before the CD is like putting out a trailer before the movie's even made.
Yeah, Thalia said that on Under Pressure.
Yeah,
and I firmly.
That's like I believe in that wholeheartedly. I'm like, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, and we both want to get music out really bad. I've had the moments where I'm like, wow, this song is so good. Starlight, for instance, I was like, man, do I want to put it out? But then I'm like, no, because those are just streams that won't be on the album, and that ties into the Suicide Pact. It's like, why would I want to take anything from that?
So Starlight is a part of the Suicide Pact mixtape then, or album?
Yeah, we'll both have solo songs on there as well.
No shit.
Yep. Not, that's just us, We want it to be a well-rounded project. So
and to cater to both fan bases,
No, yeah, I can see that. That's gonna work out pretty well then. I think the whole group might work out well because like you said earlier, anybody that Dunk might have known that Dolsk didn't know is now gonna know of Dolsk, and vice versa.
And it's already happening. I've got buddies up in Minnesota that are banging Dolsk new music, so it's already starting to happen here.
And I got buddies that worship K-Dunk. I got a coworker who listens to one of our unreleased songs every day.
Dude, I showed you that your Sauce was like one of my top played songs of 2019 on Spotify. So
yeah, you'll be excited for the album then.
Yeah.
All right, you guys got anything you want to share before we hop off here? Anything any shout outs, anything you want to say to just nobody, I guess? I don't know, anything?
I'd like to shout out K-Dunk first and foremost for
oh my god,
jump starting my musical career as a creative person. He really got my foot in the door, and I've been making the best music possible ever since I met him. I'd like to shout out Ponch for being the homie, coming over to the studio and duking out 8 hours of work with me for free. And I'd like to shout out Heavy Rain. He's on SoundCloud. He will be a feature on our album. Ponch knew him. He's from Chicago. He was in town. Came through the crib one night. We were recording. We recorded a song together. That's pretty much all I got. What about you, Kato?
Well, I'll get to you. I gotta shout out. It would just be wrong if I didn't shout out my dude Austin Jordan. He shouted me out on too many of these podcasts before, and radio shows. Actually, he's another artist from Minnesota. Lived with that dude for a while. Good guy. Just gotta shout out the boys from Minnesota. You know who you are. And finally, Fat Dolsk, man. Seriously had given up on the music industry Didn't really see a way for me to chisel my way back in, and it's been really fun seeing what I like fell in love with when I first jumped into music happen again through his eyes, and then to kind of have some tips there and tricks for him, and then for him to still have that youth and that drive to keep the hunger going. So that's all I got.
All right, guys, it was cool talking with you. I can't wait for pretty much either. I can't wait for either solo or the collaboration. I don't know. I hope that it goes as well as we all hope.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
For sure, man.
You're going to be on the very first episode of the year. I guess I lied about them being on the first episode of the year, but they are the very first bonus episode of the year. So that's pretty fucking cool. So I'll send you guys everything before I upload it. I'll let you guys check this out here in a couple hours after I finish it. Man, doing some post editing is so fun because I realized I only sent that to Fat Dolsk. I didn't send it to K-Dunk. So hopefully Dolsk sent it to him, and they actually haven't heard the final project yet. So that's cool.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
No, man, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And that's it. That's the interview with Dolsk and K-Dunk. As always, remember to email us at WTFDaveandChris@gmail.com. Call 859-444-4641 and leave a voicemail. And leave us some 5-star reviews on the iTunes. Thank you guys. Later.